Hey everyone, thanks for dialing in to the mainstream today. My name's Sam, one of the co-founders of Zengate Global, and I'm joined today by Lotus, who's representing us from the D.ID team. Welcome, Lotus.
Thank you, Sam. It's a pleasure to be here. Also, just heard a lot of good things about Zengate and also what you guys have done. It's definitely, it's like a first experience for me to be on a stream. So I'm definitely looking forward to this.
Awesome. So just to quickly introduce
Mhm.
Lotus from our side, he's currently working as the social media manager for D.ID, which is one of the leading decentralized ID protocols and projects in the Web3 space. But his role extends beyond that, as we're talking sort of before the stream started, from anything from product to research and much more as well. But Lotus, great to have you on today. I was just to kick things off, could you give our listeners a little bit of an overview about your career and how you got to working with the D.ID team and the Web3 space?
Yeah. So I think in prior to Web3, I was working in the media industry. I was like an editor, mostly covering in fashion and music, and that's how I got into NFT. I think that was back when like 2021 or 2022 when NFT was so hot, and you can just see like all these celebrities, big names like Jay-Z, Steph Curry, everybody's like using an NFT profile, right? CryptoPunks or Bored Apes, and that's when really that's the time that when I got into crypto because there are just so many hype around NFT, and also I read so much about how people make a lot of money on NFT, and I just feel like back then I actually I'm not gonna lie, I feel like it's gonna be like a good side hustle for me besides my job. But
Mm,
the more I dig into NFT, I feel like it's not just NFT, but also the general cryptocurrency industry, Bitcoins, a lot of things. The more I do my research, the more I like starting to feel like this is something that I want to learn more about. And back then, I read a lot of I wrote a lot of articles to our readers, subscribers, because I think they want to learn about NFT and crypto as well. But after that, I feel like maybe it's time for me to just like fully dive in Web3 world. That was I think when the pandemic like hit, and just we got to work from home. That actually gave me more time to do my research on crypto. So I just made up my mind that I had to just find a full-time job of crypto. And my first job was in a Web3 gaming company, I think, and we did a lot of gaming. My role was also like social media manager, and I did a lot of X spaces, and we had some of the biggest name in the industry, like the founders from X Infinity, Treasure DAO, DeFi Kingdoms, the best gaming projects. So and that is also when like I found the concept of decentralized identity, because back then a lot of people are running to this day they're using like something .eth or something .so as their name, not only like their name, their identity on blockchain, but also use their on their Twitter profiles. So at first I feel like just maybe like the hype around internet domains, like you find some domains that is unique or short or actually have like a uh, cool meaning, then you can just sell it to someone else with in a really high price. But then I realized that it's probably something more to it. And also that's when I found out about Beat, which is really different from all the other decentralized identity protocol. Because Beat actually, when you're using .eth, you only use it on Ethereum, right? Or
mm,
.so, but only on Solana. But the difference, what's different about Beat is that you can actually use it across all the different blockchains, which is thanks to the features of Nervous. So because they actually allow people to just so you can see here, it doesn't matter if you come from Ethereum or Solana or Dogecoin. You can just use their native cryptocurrencies to mint your first Beat. and it actually supports all a lot of different blockchains, because Nervous actually they support different kind of cryptocurrent like cryptographs. So that's what allowed us David as a DID protocol to just
Mm.
do, like, as you can see here, one DID, but for everyone, you don't have to worry about, like, when you move on to another chain, to a new chain, you got to mint a new DID, right? You just need one DID, but in all occasions. And then I just feel like this is something that I want to do. And also, we're not only limited to decentralized identity, but also what kind of value that we can bring to people's identity. And
Yeah.
that's basically my stories before and when I first got in, how I got into, how I joined Dabi. Yeah.
That's awesome. And for many of us who've been using, internet applications for the last 20 years or so, like the presence of an online identity has been quite I guess like a new thing that's emerged. And in the Web3 space as well, we've now moved from having an online digital identity with, technology companies leading the way, and now governments all around the world having various forms of it. Decentralized IDs have emerged as quite a popular use case in the blockchain industry for a number of years. It's been around for a while, but for those listening who may be not as familiar about what DIDs are, like could you give us a 30-second explainer around what a DID is? Why is it so important, and why is it an important problem for you guys to be working on?
Yeah, so I think the definition of decentralized identity is that you are sort of like identity that is on blockchain, right? Pre- that's pretty much like the easiest explanation of it. And what's great about it, what's amazing about it is actually it's decentralized. Like compared to our traditional identity, like social security numbers, like you don't need to like get it from like authorities. It's just all on blockchain, and it actually represents your identity on the blockchain. So when you are using different decentralized like applications, you always need like a account system, whether you are in Web 2 or Web 3, right? You always need an account system. And in Web 3 world, that account system happens to be decentralized identity. It's like when you're using like Google or Facebook, there's also, or I don't know, like your college system, there's also like some sort of a credential system.
Mm.
And what we want to create, just like I mentioned before, is that in the Web3 world, you only need one identity to log into all different kind of systems or applications. And also it represents who you are, right? Not only just a wallet address that consists of numbers and characters. It actually tells like Sam.beat or Lotus.beat. It tells people who you are. That's just like when you see because everything we both know, like everything on blockchain is transparent. People can actually see who does what, right? When you make any actions, people can see that. So it also tells people like what you do. Like when you're, for example, like a lot of people are trading meme coins like on blockchain right now, and that's how you can know like who makes how much money. Or if you really want to show people that, hey, it's me, Lotus, I made like $1 million on Solana today, or I made like $100 million tomorrow on Ethereum. I just want people to know like how good I am, right? That's actually tells people about your stories. It's like I trade meme coins myself, and I keep just tracking people's wallet, and you can see all the time what kind of coins they buy, and if their portfolios are keep growing, that's how you know. And sometimes when you want people to know that, because that actually represents you wanted people to know how good you are. And also I think that's why you need identity, because people want to demonstrate their own personalities, or just how good they are. And also I think Vitalik Buterin himself, the founder of Ethereum himself, he mentioned that I think ENS, which is the IE protocol on Ethereum, he thinks like to this day ENS is still the best non-financial application on Ethereum, which I think all of us feel like DID is one of the, if not the most important infrastructures, because it's just really like the cornerstone. Everything you want to build, anything that you want to build, is started from a DID protocol, because people need to log in with that. People need the identity to, to make all the actions that they want to make. So that's basically, you just kind of like see it as the Google account or Gmail account as in the Web3 world, and that's the future of it. I'm not sure if I like really explained it well. That
Yeah,
um,
no, and just to
yeah.
give a bit of context, like one of sort of the light bulb moments for me when I was first learning about decentralized
Mhm.
IDs, a number of years ago was, I think someone was talking about how difficult it is to port over medical records from one country to another, or how difficult it is to open up a bank account when you move from one country to another. And like that happened to me. Like I moved from Sydney in Australia to Tokyo, Japan, a number of years ago, and I had to set everything up from scratch. I need to create, register an identity at the local council, and then go through that process and tell them where I live, and then I had to get my phone number sorted, which then finally allowed me to open up a bank account. But before I could get a bank account, I had to go get a hanko, which is like the physical stamp with my name written on it. And because I'm half Japanese, I don't have a fully Japanese name, so I had to go get that ordered from a special website, and it was this whole ordeal. And I still have to, even when I want to change certain data, within the bank. For example, when I moved from Tokyo to Osaka, I had to go to the bank in person. I had to bring this physical stamp in place, and they had an electronic reader for this physical stamp. You'd put it in the red ink and then stamp it, and then I was able to change my address. So it's that was sort of the light bulb moment, and the same goes for medical records. Thankfully, I've been quite healthy over the last few years and have not had to sort of port all of that over, but it's just so difficult. And when you own your own data, when you own your identity, and you own the data attached to your identity, I think the ability to have things like credentials and certifications or records that you're able to share was that's sort of like the big real world use case that you know we still struggle with today. And that's what really got me excited. And obviously through the work that you might be familiar with, but for those listening, with the supply chain solutions that our company works on, like DIDs have become a really big thing that we have to focus on, not only from the point of view of giving identity, digital and decentralized identity to people that have never had it before, but from a compliance point of view as well. We need to know like who sold, where you source stuff from, which inspectors inspected your warehouses, all that sort of stuff. So that's sort of been a really exciting journey that I've had to be on, both personally in terms of understanding the importance, but also through my work today. But um, I was just curious, like the next question I had for you was like .bit. Can you tell us a little bit about it? I know you talked a bit about it earlier, but what's the vision of the company? Like, what are you guys working towards right now? What products are you working on, and what's the connection with Nervos as well? Like that's how we got introduced to you
Mhm.
guys. I'm just curious to hear the backstory of all of that.
I think our final vision is that we can solve the problems that you just mentioned, because we obviously have see the problems right now. Like when you're telling us your stories about, like, you have to bring different record from one country to another country, because obviously they don't use the same system, right? I mean, administration system. And also
Mm.
that also happens not only in different countries, but also maybe within the same country, but different cities, different provinces, right? And different kind of systems. So that's one problem that we're facing, and that cannot be fixed in the Web2 world, because naturally there is not going to be a single system that is going to be trusted by both Japan and Australia and also USA and then China. That can only be achieved in the decentralized world, where people can trust this one system, because it is automatically like exaggerated by a smart contract, right? We can trust it because it doesn't listen to one single authority. and we can trust because it's transparent. It's all on blockchain. We can trust. We can. It's maybe like open source, so everybody know it's safe. That's how we can achieve that. We can break all the barriers. There are so many barriers in traditional world, and
Mm.
it can only be solved by Web3. And I have to say too, we still have a long way to go, but we feel like Web3 decentralized identity is the right path. Like we can only like take this one path is that only one that we can take in, at least for what we're thinking right now. And our final vision is we want everybody to own their decentralized identity, and we want them to use this one identity in all different systems to help them to, I think the most important thing is just to make things more efficient to everybody, whatever you do, especially like the kind of things that you just mentioned, the trouble that like in terms of your personal data, your personal information, that you cannot trust like a third party to store all that data, because you don't know how they're going to leak your data, right? But if it's a trustworthy, like it's not even a third party, just some system that we know is transparent and is trustworthy, that's how you can just to something that we can all believe in, right? And right now the ID or Dabi is actually going that way. But firstly, we want to just make sure that people understand what it's like to own a decentralized identity, and what it's like to what kind of good it brings to people. So our vision mostly right now is just trying to just trying to educate people about what it does. And also it's not only us, there are a lot of there's some other decentralized identity protocols in the industry right now. So we're just working together to promote the idea, and also by working with different kind of applications, right? The application that the people actually use, so they can actually understand by using the ID, and to experience like how good they actually use. And I think to solve the question we just mentioned, like you have to not only owning identity itself doesn't really solve the problem, but also this identity has to represent an authentic person, right? Because right now anyone can mint a .bit or .eth or any domain on the blockchain. It's you don't need to you don't need a KYC. You don't need all you have to do is just
Mm.
mint some cryptocurrency. So it doesn't really tells people like who you are, but we need to find a way to actually for example, when people are using the ID in Zengate, they need to know it's a real person instead
Mm.
of like bots or some scammy traders. So that's the problem we're trying to solve now. And I think for Nervous, we discovered Nervous because we we feel like Nervous has all the solutions that we need in terms of like blockchain. As I mentioned earlier, like Nervous actually allows us to expand to all different kind of blockchains. We don't have to limit to Nervous or Ethereum or Solana, because anyone can mint a Dabbit and use Dabbit on any other blockchains. And that's what we think is the key to build an identity protocol, because an identity has to be applied in different situations. You can't just have like a dozen of different identities in different applications. That's not how you use it your identity. So right now we are just we talked to Nervous, and also they offered us solutions. And also what's amazing about Nervous is that also a Nervous account is actually gasless, so they have some pre-deposit gas to your account or your address. So you don't need to worry about like you need to like deposit some cryptocurrency before you use it. So it actually lowered the barrier a lot for normies or people who are not familiar with cryptocurrencies. And also I think Nervous also allow like even Web 2 like credentials. Like you don't need to
Mm.
like really keep a record of your seed phrase. You can just use your fingerprint or facial recognition to log into your account, which is also people what people are used to. So Nervous, all you know, Nervous has a lot, so many amazing like features that we feel like it deserves to be more recognized. And we feel like as one of the biggest product on Nervous right now, we feel like we just want to keep building Nervous with all the other like partners in the ecosystem. So just trying to like meet people's need and bring more value to the ecosystem, also to our users.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And as you were talking, I was just cracking up because, in Japan, when you go traveling, every single time you go to a hotel, they ask for your passport. They want a copy of your
Mm.
passport. I'm quite lucky because I live here. I've got I've got like my own, government identity card and whatnot. So I tell them I'm not a tourist. Here's my identity card instead, which is no better in my opinion. But when my family's here or friends are here, their passports get scanned. This for every hotel, every Airbnb, every hotel. They've got your they've got your passport, and I have no idea what their compliance requirements are around storing that. They've got a scan of it. They've got a photocopy of it, and I always walk away knowing that it's I don't know what the heck's going to happen to that. It's happened so many times now
Exactly.
at this point that, if it's going to leak, it's going to leak. And someone has my data at this point. So I think the fact that like DIDs allow you to share what you want to share, and coupled with, verifiable credentials, or coupled with things like zero knowledge proofs, you can really
Mhm.
sort of end up not sharing anything as long as some other, credentialed person has checked it or entities checked it. So that's I was just laughing sort of in
Yeah,
my head.
because you only have to like expose your own your personal information to the system that we know that it like 99%, I'm not sure, I'm just made that number, but it won't leak your information because it's
Yeah,
like I said, it's open source, it's transparent. But when you're giving your information to like whatever hotel or whatever banks, you don't know what they're going to do with it. And that's how
yeah,
people,
no idea.
how people, you keep here in China, we keep getting like this scamming phone calls, like they're like telling you all about yourselves, like they can they know your names, your address, your phone number. And that's because even like when we send like a package to our friends or family, they are going to require your identity card. So
Mm,
there's no way we can have our information like safely stored in the place, because we just have too much exposures. And if we can have like one single system, or maybe one, not maybe not one, but a system that you know we both trust, so they don't have to know like who you really are. They just know, okay, you are authentic. That's all they need to know.
yeah, yeah, and the other bit as well, just to bounce off what you were saying with Nervos, I've been, just because I've been in this space for a little while, mostly in the Ergo, Cardano, Bitcoin communities. Like
Mhm.
UTXO has always been something I've been fascinated by, and the stuff that you can do with it is incredible. Like for supply chain data tracking, it's the best option to go with. That's what we truly believe instead of accounts models. But I've been spending more and more time over the last few weeks learning, and Jordan Mack, who's one of the key guys in the Nervos ecosystem, and a few other people have been super supportive. And yeah, it's great that you guys are building in that space, just because there's a lot of tech there that I don't think even I didn't fully understand, and still learning today that is possible. So I think the fact that you're able to power a lot of the technology that you're using in other ecosystems as well, and onboarding lots of people without them actually realizing that it's being powered by Nervos is quite incredible, and that's something so we strive to as well. Just
Yeah,
before we, oh yeah, go
yeah,
ahead, Lotus. Yeah.
yeah. I just want to mention, like, I think I first meet Daniel back in, it's probably March or April in Hong Kong. We are at this Bitcoin event, and
Mm,
he came to one of the CKB event, and those we just talk about, like, he told me what Zengate do. And at first I'm just like completely lost, because I had zero knowledge about like commodities, or like real world assets, or whatsoever. Because the only thing I do, my only expertise is like trading meme coins. So I don't really know nothing about that. Then he like explains to me what blockchains can actually do with, like commodity trading, or because transparency can add so much value to the traders when they can see like everything has a record on the blockchain, and they just know it's real instead of like fake volumes or um I don't know. It's just so actually, like you said, it's like well, like a wow moment for me. So, and also they're joining nervous for the reason that I still don't know, like, because what I know is that Nervous can, is perfectly fit for us, a decentralized identity protocol. But still, I'm not sure, like, how Nervous, you know, uh, what made you, made you guys decided to move from Cardano to Nervous. But I'm just happy to, maybe you can share a little about how you guys feel about Nervous.
Yeah. Just quickly on that one. We haven't moved from one to another, but really just expanded. Like
Oh
our
yeah,
strategy
sorry.
has always been use what the best technology has to offer. Because not I don't have a view that like one protocol can manage every single thing that you want to solve. And naturally there's brain power being spent on different problems across different blockchains, right? And we've seen this, right? Like Solana, a lot of the brain share has been towards speed, TPS, meme coins, like culture, like anything about culture, it seems like has found its way there. We've seen Avalanche with a big focus on gaming, right? Like a lot of the big gaming protocols over there, it's probably one of the best places to build gaming projects. And then DeFi, obviously, you've had the Ethereum EVM world really just like they've pioneered the space. The L2s have adopted a lot of that sort of innovation as well. And for us, like what excited about Nervos was actually what you guys were building. Like we needed a DIDS solution that was powered by like a real company that was working on this stuff every day in day out, working towards good solutions. And we were really attracted because um, that technology was there. And the other bit as well is the actual underlying architecture of how Nervos works and the way you can write smart contracts on Nervos is very similar to the way you do it on Ergo and the way you do it on Cardano. So the ability to port over, smart contract logic and the ability for it to be interoperable uh, was one of the big reasons. And because we're still learning more and more about Nervos every day, I think it'll become more and more apparent like how we can leverage it in the way that we need to leverage it. So that's really sort of the arc around how we got into Nervos, and the community has been excellent as well, very supportive. And people like Jordan, for example, is I sort of consider him a mentor of mine, and he's just been teaching me lots of stuff around what you can do with the tech. So we're really excited to be building like on all of these UTXO blockchains, really.
Yeah, I'm just, like I always know that Nervous has a lot of amazing stuff. Either the technology or the community, and it's just, they've been keeping their head on, like been building for years, and they're never. I feel like their value had never like fully being recognized among the crypto space, and it's great to have you guys here. To you guys don't, we don't reach out to you, but you guys actually find us. So it's
Mm.
actually a good thing. We feel like the more we can have like more developers joining us to like expand the scope of Nervous ecosystem, because right now I think because Nervous the development on Nervous can be different from EVM or Solana. So there's a little barrier here, but once you get a hold to it, it's going to bring in so many benefits, especially when you're developing your projects to like Web2 people, because it just makes things so much easier for them. And I think that's one of the key things that we need to do, like if you want to onboard people to have like mass adoption.
Yeah, exactly. You were talking about RWAs just before we got into more detail about Nervos, and you were talking about the trustworthiness and the transparency components, and I really liked what you touched on that. But I'm just curious, like outside of the stuff we're working on, which is around commodities and supply chains, like where can DIDs come into play, and um, you know how can DIDs be used? Like, what sort of industries are you guys excited about, over the next 5 years or so?
I think one of them is so I feel like the credential problem that we need to solve, it actually it happens in all the different industries, because everything we do, there's always like a credential system. And we also we just we don't want to, there's probably like a thousand or a million system out there in education, in like traveling or financial, right? Because each one of this application we use, we're gonna need a new account. Like we either use a new account or just use our Google account, but it's going to be in a different system anyway. So just like you said, we want to solve that. And right now, what we're focusing on, we're like tapping the water is like one of them is like education, and the other one is traveling. And I think this year we also we went to USA to attend like a meeting, mostly people from education, like they do things for example K-12 or college. They want to build a credential system for their students and teachers, so they can have to issue like either their scores or their achievements. So we talked to a lot of these people, and they are really excited about the idea of putting this credential system on the blockchain, which is what we're doing now. So I think the good thing is about that is just like we said a lot of things. It actually is a lot more efficient. Like you don't have to switch between different accounts, and also it actually gives people you know more like consistent tracking of your record, like you like from your primary school, preschool to your college. All you need to is just one identities, right? And also in different countries or institutions, they can just instantly recognize like if you have like authentic degrees, or if you ever actually been to this college or not. Because right now there are a lot of scams around your degrees or your backgrounds, right? When you're applying to a university, it's hard to fact check. I think I heard about a few months ago in Hong Kong, because a lot of people uh, a lot of students, when they apply, they claim that they've been to certain universities in Europe, but turns out it's not real. It doesn't. The problem doesn't exist for people who go to universities in mainland China, because they have like a system that you can verify. But there's no such thing outside of China. They just can't verify. So it just shows one aspect of how people are in need of this sort of thing, that you know you can from different institutions, but you can just verify under one big system. So that's one thing that we're looking at. And also we're looking at um, traveling, because we also launched Patch, which is a achievement system. So what it does, like for example, you want to issue different medals or badges for the amazing things you have achieved in your life, and it can be used in different occasions, like for example school. Like when you did really great in school, they can issue you some sort of badges to be the proof of your good performance in school. And also like when you run a marathon, or just maybe anything that you want to add to your identity, you can just issue a badge. Like you can get a badge from the trust like issuers, to tell people like who you are and what do you do. And also they can find you by your identities. So, and one of these achievements, we actually built a location based system, that so when you go to one place, we're going to use your GPS information to actually verify, okay, you actually been to the Statue of Liberty or the Great Wall. So we're going to issue a badge. That's how you can just keep tracking your like traveling record, right? So, and that's also how you tell people like you've been to different places, so you can check out who you've been to, who I've been to, so we can find some common places that we've all both been to and start a conversation from there. And we actually go to Token 2049 last month in Singapore, and also talk to a lot of people, because a lot of people in crypto, they travel a lot, right? So they are in need of a place to keep a record of all the places they have gone to. And we also have like a travel to earn mechanism. So whenever you go to a new places, you can just claim some tokens. We call the token nuts, right? So you can like yeah, to claim some nuts tokens. And also just tell everybody, like instead of using an Instagram photos, because nowadays you cannot trust an Instagram photos nowadays because of AI, right? There's
Yeah.
no, you just can't tell if it's like a legit or not.
I was
But
about to say that the days of the like the fake jets are over, right? Like we've got AI images now. So,
yeah.
but to touch on the education bit, just
Mhm.
briefly. So just to finish the bit around travel, you guys should have like a crypto conference Olympics or something. It's always funny. I personally don't go to as many compared to Dan. Dan's the more social one, I think, out of the founding team members on our side. Actually, I that's a lie. Our other business partner Nico is probably even more social, but um, it seems like a lot of the same people are always going to these various crypto conferences and doing business development. So they should have like a competition, I think, for themselves. But just to,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you like. I'm pretty sure like Dan travels so much. Like he has. I don't know.
yeah,
Like
he's probably
I talked to a lot of people. Yeah, I
he'd
talked
be
to a
up
lot
there,
of
I
guys
think.
from CKB. Like all they do all year long is they just went to different, just go to different countries, different
Yeah,
cities to meet different peoples. And uh, like you said, they probably not like like have like a count how many countries they've been, but I think they will be happy to know. Like have a little competition and also get rewarded for that. It doesn't need to be like a big reward. It just tells you about like how long you have gone, right? How it's just all the journeys that you've gone. So yeah, it's pretty exciting.
yeah, and
That's
just
actually a great idea.
yeah, yeah. And to just touch a bit on the proof of education piece, one of my friends, Sierra Ewan, he's based in Tokyo. He runs a project called Socius, and he's been working on, uh, well, the main company that he set up is a job matching platform, uh, focused around social impact. But one of the key things they've been trying to solve, that they are solving, is that verifiable credentials piece that you're talking about. Which is trying to understand, like, if you claim to have gone to the Hong Kong University, like, did you actually go there? Can you check that you went there? Or if you graduated from MIT or the University of Sydney, how do you actually know someone went there? And he gave a presentation a few months ago when I was in Tokyo, one of the events that I think they were running. It was a Cardano event, and he was telling the community a bit about what they were working on. And there's this headline message he gave, which is the sort of I think the background check market is like a multi-billion-dollar market, right? And it's this fraud everywhere, from people lying about jobs that they didn't do, to degrees that they didn't get, to people that they say they know that they don't know. And people spend billions of dollars, or companies spend billions of dollars each year just to do that, just to make sure they're hiring the right people. So having a system like that, slowly start to come into play, definitely gives people, or companies, a bit more like trust in the system around like who they're hiring, and whether or not things are getting started so right off the bat. So it's awesome that you're doing that. And so I assume you guys are working with several universities and educators around the world to get that done. So hats off to you guys. And that's sort of a real world use case that I think everyone should know about and sort of hear about. So I'm glad that you brought that up today.
Appreciate. We definitely have like a long way to go, because to do that you need to, like people to convince them that you're the system they want to like build on. Right now we're only to like we're talking to several universities in Singapore, and we actually get a lot of support from them. But to build something that actually being commonly acknowledged by you know schools or institutions from different countries, different continents, it takes a lot of time. You have to you have to build trust first to make them, just so just before they can just fully convince that it is something that they can use, everybody can use, right? So there's a lot of work needs to be done, but we're just optimistic about our future. So right now it's more about like working with different kind of people, just just to brave enough to try different things, because like you said, it's a huge market and there are so many opportunities. So what we have to do is we find the the most like emergent things that we need to do so people can just recognize the values. So that's, I think, how we can build from there.
Yeah, and one of the things that, as a company we've been focused on is around like compliance tech, and just to throw some ideas in your head, to walk away with after the podcast is um like from a compliance point of view, it's always quite interesting to tackle problems. Like for us, we've been spending a fair bit of time around, supply chain traceability compliance. So there's a number of different regulations that have come out of, the United States with the FDA to European Union. The, European Commission have, required some stuff around reporting for deforestation. Um, and it's becoming more and more clear that they want to know at the granularity that we've never had before, like who is sourcing from where, like where are checks being conducted. And like this is where we think DIDs in our world could play a really interesting solution, right? Because in some cases you have to do some inspections of an asset or inspections of product that you've just sourced, and it needs to be geolocated. Well, if starting off, you need to geolocate where it came from, but in the middle, it stopped by as a warehouse. If you're submitting some information, it's the perfect opportunity to connect the GPS coordinates of that submission to a DID, or to a credential, or to the person who's able to actually create and sort of sign off on the credential in the first place. And like that's I think where you get that ultra level of transparency that we've never had before. And the good thing is a lot of companies already have these systems in place where they do it all on the Web2 side, right? They actually have a good system of records around, who's the warehouse manager, who's signing off on what consignments, what shipments come in, what come out, what materials are getting blended. And I just think as the regulation comes in place, there's going to be more and more scrutiny to actually provide that data. And what blockchain, I think, provides a solution for is the portability of that data. So one business might buy from another business, who then buys from another business, who buys from another business, and that ability to share that information as it goes through, I think is going to be critical. And I think the way regulation's going, with how much scrutiny that various supply chains are getting, more and more every single year, is only going to force these types of solutions as the only solutions available to capture this stuff. And whatever Web2 solution you create, like the ability for it to be able to be interoperable between even those Web2 systems becomes a headache in of itself. So I'm sort of quite optimistic that there's going to be lots of use cases out there, and as long as the work that you guys are doing and other projects are doing in the DID space, I think the sort of groundwork has been laid over the last few years, and it's a matter of time that projects like ours, who are working in the real world asset space, projects in supply chains and real estate, finance, will sort of start adopting this stuff. But that's my view. I'm obviously a bit biased, but um, I'm just curious, just as sort of a follow on that. One of the things that was quite uh, one of the things that was like super apparent when we were doing research about .bit was how interoperable you guys are. Could you talk a little bit about how that works, and like what's been the approach on that side of things?
Yeah, just I actually touch a little when I talk about like why we chose nervous to be the blockchain that we build on. So I think the most important thing for the ID protocol for us is that people can easily get access to it. It cannot be too complicated, right? Because if identity protocol is for everyone, and that includes children and elders, right? And they probably don't know how to set up a MetaMask wallet, or how to keep a safe record of their seed phrases. It has to be really easy, and that is why we think that we need to provide some like easy access to them. They don't need to learn anything new. They can just use the way that they're already used to, like facial recognition, fingerprints, right? They can just log in their accounts like that. So there's no like extra cost to learn, and that's one of the most like important things for infrastructure, like protocol. So and that is what Nervous offer us. And also right now we are seeing all kinds of different DID protocols, but to be honest, they're mostly limited to blockchain, right? They don't really like think about like how they can really lower the barrier or make it easier for people. And the other thing is that this one identity protocol has to be applied to pretty much everything you use, right? It's like a Google in Web 2. Like there's no it cannot be denied like in a new system or a new application. And if you're using a like a one blockchain only protocol, like an ENS or Solana, the .solana or .eth, and that is pretty much like a you just cannot use it outside of its own blockchain. But if that's the case, it's pretty meaningless, because maybe you can register sam.eth on Ethereum, but when you go to Solana, you realize that sam.solana is actually belong to someone else. Like you need to change your name because someone registered it before you. So that's not how we want to do things here, because you just want to be Sam, like no matter where you no matter where you go, right? And also you don't want to spend like all these protocols that there's a fee to it, right? You need to pay like $5, $10 or $20 a year, and you don't want to pay like 20 identity protocols. That's just ridiculous, right? It's not like streaming platforms. At least they offer different like a series or movies, but right now you just pretty much get the same thing, but you get to pay multiple subscription fees. But for Dabi, you don't need to. You only need one DID. You know, that's Dabi, right? So that for us, it's like most like in terms of interoperability, it's probably like the most important thing that we're looking into. And outside that is pretty much like working with different applications. So wherever people don't go, they can just use their Dabbit. So that is also very important. So on that, I'm really I feel like I gotta give the thumbs up to .eth, because they've been doing that quite well. They have the support from the whole Ethereum ecosystem. So pretty much everything you do, you can use the ETH. But right now for us, we are still just trying to work with as many partners that we can work with, and just trying to show them how convenient it actually is with .beat. So still a lot of work to be done, but we are very optimistic.
So we just had a question come in
Mhm.
from the community. So Bobby's Bits. Yeah, thanks for the question. So so with identity, the stakes are far higher. So how do you see challenges and pathways for a robust and inclusive self-custody of identity? Lotus, do you want to take that one?
Uh, Let me think about it. Uh,
So my interpretation of this has been, you know, like you were saying before, like creation of wallets and having seed phrases I think if you're not a Web3 native, it could be quite cumbersome and confusing, to be frank. And I think everyone here is probably, if you have set up a wallet before, probably likely you've set up multiple wallets. And I think the managing of all of these seed phrases can be quite difficult, and it's a high barrier of entry, I think, for many people in the rest of the world. So my interpretation is like, how do you sort of get around some of those challenges, and maybe others around self custody? Is there sort of a hybrid in place that you can sort of land on? What do you think, Lotus?
I think that's the really two sides of these things, because one thing you want is safety, right? Because identity is too important. If you lost your identity, there's just too many risks.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have like your exposure to your bank system, your bank account, or pretty much all your account, like if the best thing really happened, what we want really happened to us, it actually connects to all your accounts, and there's absolutely no way that you want to lose that. So one thing, we want safety, and the other thing we want is like easy access. So um right now, I think we just follow the principles of blockchain, that you need to just look out for yourself, because it's the same for your crypto funds. Like if you actually lost your seed phrase, then however millions dollars of cryptocurrencies you have in your wallet is going to be someone else. So, but right now we're just also this like exploring different options, for because we're also using like passkeys. Passkeys are very popular. In login like services. I'm not sure if that's the right way to describe it, but basically it actually allows you to use, like you said, facial recognition, or facial recognition, or fingerprints to log into your account. And we also provide options, like if you really want to preserve your like private keys, you can do that as well. But for people who are not familiar with Web3 technologies, you just all you have to do is just to make sure that you don't leak your, I don't know, like your like a passkey seed to it's a file that's stored in your computer. So passkey itself has like a strong mechanisms to prevent it from being stolen. But in the meantime, you also need to just make sure your fingerprints or your facial information doesn't leak. But just I think Bobby here has raised a really important question, is that how we balance between safety and easy access. And
Mm.
also if we are really looking into something as important as your identity, it has to be like um, carefully considered. So I'm not sure like how long this is going to take, but it's going to be one of the most important like priority for us to just to make sure that your identities are safe.
Yeah, and I imagine like wallet infrastructure plays a crucial role in this as well. Like my first introduction to Nervos was the Joy ID wallet, and that was probably by far, I think, the best wallet experience I've probably had before. It was just so easy. It uses pass keys.
Hmm.
Um, you can, oh man, for anyone that's listening and wants to hold some CKB, which is the Nervos token, to use in the ecosystem to mint to dot bit. Um, yeah, Joy ID was like the first wallet I got introduced to, and yeah, it's good to see that there's been more innovations happening from a security point of view there. And I think the main bit that Bobby's bits touched on was the inclusiveness as well. Like, but just as we wrap up, just got a few minutes left, but I got two questions for you. The first is .bit. Uh, where can people go to firstly learn more about it, and mint their first did?
Oh, our domain is .d.id, so it's pretty easy to remember, and we actually pay good money for that domain. So all
Mhm.
you have to do is just go to d.id slash I think register. Is it not register? Just reg d.id slash reg. So you can get your first did did Adobe identity. And also, we actually support not only cryptocurrencies. It's okay if you don't own any cryptocurrencies. You can use your uh, Stripe or credit card to
Mm.
purchase some DID points and then meet your first DID. And also, we're going to follow us on X, DID based. We are just constantly trying to. So I think this year we actually upgrade our protocol, so it actually better fits the new standard asset standard of Nervous. So they have like this new standard, just so we can just better like you said, better interoperability with like other protocols inside of Nervous ecosystem. So we just keep building, and right now one of our focus is on patch the achievement protocol, and we just want to just just give people something that they can actually use, more values to their identities. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We actually launched a token for patch. It's called Nuts, and you can claim Nuts by traveling or getting achievements. So yeah, just follow us, and we have a lot of great news, I think, in the next couple months.
That's awesome. And any sort of final comments you want to leave the community and the audience with around, other stuff you're excited about, or, the future of identity, like just wrapping things off. The sort of floor's yours now.
I think decentralized identity as I think a category of the general cryptocurrency industry, it actually grows with the crypto, the general crypto industry. And I think what's really beautiful about crypto is like it's transparent. So
Mm,
it actually solves the problem of trust.
mm,
People can trust each other because they can see everything on the blockchain. The blockchain doesn't lie, right? It's all authentic, and I think that's really important. And also, the blockchain doesn't belong to any like authorities or any I don't know, like entities. So you just know that because if you are, it's like if it's a third party system, you're not sure if it's going to cheat or maybe like alter one of those records. It happens a lot, but with
mm.
blockchain, it's you just can't cheat with blockchain. So we genuinely feel like as the crypto industry grows and people starting to just one of the best example I think is the poly market right now. It's a prediction tool that people can bet against each other, and they just know there's no way you can cheat, and the platform is not going to cheat because it's all automatically gets executed by smart contract. So I think as people get to know more about what kind of benefits crypto actually brings to people, and they're going to learn more about decentralized identity, and that's when we can best serve people to just make our society to run but with more efficiency. So I'm just I'm really bullish on the future of our industry, and as a builder of the our protocol, I'm just really optimistic about everything ahead of us. And so good luck to us, and also to Zenga and everybody who's here today to tune in to listen to us. Uh, yeah,
Excellent. So, Lotus, once again, thank you so much for coming on. Yeah, we're looking forward to getting you guys back on here, and you and your teammates. So, thanks again for sharing all your thoughts around DIDs and educating us and giving us some insights into this space as well. So, on that note, thank you again. Thank you for everyone listening, and this is Sam and Lotus tuning out from the mainstream for this week.
thank you so much for having me.